Welcome into the live stream today. We'll break down the markets for you in a full weekend outlook. We'll cover all the tokens, Bitcoin, Ethereum, a bunch of altcoins. You guys don't want to miss it. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into Tech Path. I want to thank our sponsor today, and that is iTrust Capital. If you're thinking crypto IRAs, well, this is the place to go. You can start your own IRA. You can get into crypto, altcoins. Of course, take a look at gold and silver. There's a lot of flexibility, and it's very easy to manage. You can self-manage your own trades in there. And best of all, you're joining over 200,000 other people, which means it's very easy to get started. Just use the link down below. You'll get a $100 funding reward to get started, and it does help the channel. I want to remind everybody that we have a huge event coming up on Tuesday next week. We'll be kind of giving you guys a rundown, but we're going to do a bunch of special guests. We're going to do a live trading session. We've got one of our traders coming in. We've got analysts coming in on the election night. We'll be covering all the results coming in and, of course, the impact on crypto. So make sure and jump over to our YouTube page. Click that little notify me right there, and it's going to notify you as long as you're subscribed and you've got your bell icon correctly checked. And it's going to give you the live update of when we go live, which is going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. Election night coverage for you guys. We'll probably run as late as we can to find out who our new president is and how that's going to impact crypto in general. All right, so let's get into it today. And of course, we want to bring in our best and one of our most favorite traders out there, and that is, of course, Mr. Evan Aldo. How's it going?
Great to be on, Paul. Really excited to look at the charts, with you. Appreciate the amazing introduction. That was really great.
Hey, Evan, so I like your background there. What is that? Can you hear me? What's your background?
This is real. This is real in the rice fields in Bali. So this is real. I got some backlighting here.
Okay.
Hearing the dogs howling, rice fields in back of me. So yeah, the real authentic background here.
I love it. Well, you're the world traveler, so we've been able to catch you on the other part of the world doing some trading. We got to look at this though, Evan. Mm-hmm. That is 953 billion have been wiped out from the U.S. stock market. This, of course, was a pretty big event yesterday. Almost everything was down, including NVIDIA down almost 5% right there. And, of course, Google, Microsoft down. Even after the unbelievable return or earnings, Meta was down 5%, Amazon down 3.5%. So a lot of, including Tesla, was down 3%. But the point being is that there's a lot of people that were in a position where the markets have recorrected. And some of it may have been kind of anticipating what we've seen in the job market. The job market comes in, and this is crazy to me. And the idea is that the U.S. economy only added 12,000 jobs in October. And the expectations were 106,000 to be added. So first of all, who the heck is doing the analysis on these to miss it by 10x, on jobs? So this is not good. 4.1 did stay in line in terms of unemployment, but it is marking the lowest jobs number in terms of adding jobs since 2021. And remember, 2021 was not a good time for jobs. So definitely affecting the markets. And I think that, of course, showed up in Bitcoin's price rejection off 73. If you look at the charts on Bitcoin right now, and you consider with what we're seeing, we've got a weaker than expected jobs data coming in. You've got scenarios playing out right now. People are saying that, okay, we think it's going to reject, but yet at the same time, we've also come back from the 69 range already. What's your position on Bitcoin right now?
So, we got to be objective. The first thing I'm looking at in Bitcoin here is when I, zoom out a little bit. Here was the all-time high right there. We hit it there, and then we're making another lower low so far, and we hit this kind of spiral line area, right here, and we're just not, we just rejected pretty harshly from it, unfortunately, which does make me a bit concerned and makes me think that we could do what we've been doing basically all year, which is kind of just being, kind of just playing zigzag, being very range bound, and there's not really much to tell me that we're not going to come back to 63K again, maybe retest this. If we can't hold that, maybe come down to 59, and then probably worst case scenario, it wouldn't be impossible for us to come into the end of the year, maybe a bearish month or two. Maybe it's a real close election. Maybe there's some civil unrest. Maybe there's some uncertainty. Maybe there's more of what you mentioned, more unemployment, potentially bringing us back down to those, mid 50s or something of that nature if we do repeat what we've seen. When you zoom in on the charts a little bit more, your money flow is definitely not the best in 3 hours. So talking about that weekend jump up, I mean, hey, it's possible, but when you follow the money, it does look like the money may bring you downward to the election. I could see maybe if there's if the candidate that is more pro-crypto wins the election, you get a big jump off of 63 and maybe be headed back up to all-time highs. That's a possibility. But we have to be objective. We have to look at, what's happening. And right now, it does most likely look like we will be headed down a bit more with Bitcoin, probably back down to 63K. And if you look at kind of the 4-year cycle a little bit, this is going back a while, but I wanted to show you kind of what happened at the end of 2016 here, if we could find it, right around July 2016. So right around here, of Bitcoin a little bit different than a few others, but see how you did. Okay, it was the beginning of 2017 actually, but you had that one last kind of flush out here, and the general area would be about 8 years ago. So that final flush out, and then you had a very bullish year ahead of you. And when we look at ETH later, it'll make more sense kind of on the ETH chart. You did see a bottom in December there. So ultimately, that's what we could be kind of that's what we could be kind of looking at here, a potential drop down for the next month or two. I think with odds, a lot are already in a potential victory. The bad thing about that is that already means the price of crypto is already kind of factored in. So that doesn't mean necessarily a Trump victory is going to bring us up right away. I think it will in 2025, but we may have to wait a month or two there.
I'm looking at this channel right now on Bitcoin. There's a couple of order blocks and I only on our tool, we only go back so many, but this is still, an upward trend channel, even though we have dipped back down into the channel that you're referencing on Bitcoin. The question is getting back down to a 53, which would be that support level, this huge order block that I'm showing right here, that would be a significant impact. Do you think that the situation on the election, for many people who might say, okay, well, if it doesn't go pro-crypto, and I don't know how that may lay out, could have more of an impact going forward? And would you place a bet right now on Kamala to win? Just to
would I place a bet on Kamala to win?
Go with it against the odds.
Well, look, what I'll say is the one thing I'll say about the election here is if you look at Alan Lichtman, who has had probably one of the best records at the election, he's only gotten it wrong once in the last 40 years. He predicts a Kamala victory. If you do look at polls, there are polls still very close. So, anything could happen here. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be very close. And I think whoever loses is really going to say they won. So we'll see what happens. The Supreme Court could be the one deciding this election. Yeah,
that's the thing I'm more concerned about is the aftermath post, because that, of course, will extend the point of potentially slowing either a rally and or a bull run, or get a lot of investors really kind of a little bit antsy to wait till after the first of the year. Even though we had, we've had some people on this week alone. If you look at their anticipation of where it's going, Mark Yusko said this, and he thought that we could see 100K Bitcoin end of year. Now he's very active Bitcoin in the month of November. So I don't know. We've got some different opinions out there for sure. I think everything is going to start to resolve next Tuesday as we start to get some verification on how the markets will hold. Ethereum is set to go to 6K if it holds a crucial resistance level. And right now, the 2400 is the support that everybody's looking at. And if you pop over to the chart, let's go over to ETH real quick. And within ETH right now, that 2400, it's holding at 25 right now after a big red day yesterday. Do you think ETH can drop further? What's your position right now on ETH?
Unfortunately, I think it probably can, and I'll tell you why right now. So if we look at kind of the daily here, and we look at the last trigger wave, we're seeing a trigger wave right now. Money flow's kind of struggling to come into the green, kind of starting to come back down. Last time this happened was around August. We had about a 21% drop down. So if it does play out like that, you'd be looking at around a $2,000 ETH. But on the bright side, I think the absolute worst case scenario for this, I know never say never, but worst case scenario, I think unless things get absolutely insane, would be 1800. You know, this kind of spiral line right here. If that happens, that's like all in. You know what I mean? But ultimately, you know, I don't think that bad, but you could come down a little bit. There's bullish cases too. I mean, I could absolutely be wrong here. Just like on the 3-day, I mean, you have the green dot, money flows coming up. It is good, but that's still, I mean, that's not invalidated unless you really lose, you know, unless you really lose 2K. You could wick down to these areas. And if we look at kind of history here, what I wanted to show, you know, if you look at previous cycles, what I was talking about before a little bit on Bitcoin, if you look at what happened in 2016 in the 4-year cycle, you had a very bearish kind of end of year here, and then you just went crazy right there. You just went crazy upward right there. And then the thing here that's been a bit depressing about Ethereum is it's really bled a lot. This is Ethereum versus Bitcoin. It's really bled a lot against Bitcoin. It's losing this big area right around 0.04 valuation against Bitcoin. The next big area is going to be 0.03. Now, that's not that bad. That's really actually only like 15% down more against Bitcoin than we are right now. And if you look at kind of 2016, like I was just talking about, look at that drop. The bottom was in December of 2016. So maybe we need 1 or 2 more rate cuts to really give us that bottom against Bitcoin here. And I mean, let's say Bitcoin comes down to, you know, that 50, doesn't make a lower low, just comes down, doesn't bring out that 48K low, but just comes down to like 54K. Maybe ETH really gets the real fear, the real bad order block, and wicks down to like 2000, maybe a little bit below it, somewhere around here. Worst case scenario, 1700, really getting everybody to say ETH is dead. And then you just go crazy in 2025 and really recover and get up to that 6K that you've been talking about. This 2-week trigger wave looks excellent right here on Ethereum. I think it looks great, but you still could wick down potentially before that. I don't want everybody to think I think it's going to 1800. I don't, but I think it absolutely could go back to 2100, 2000, and then make a real big rally into April next year up to 5,000.
Yeah. Yeah, you're lagging just a slight bit. Yeah, you're lagging just slightly there, Evan. I wanted to pick it up right there because I want to get your opinion on this. And one of them is the analyst that was kind of breaking this down. Let me kind of zoom in. This is an important topic right here. He promised to cash out his ETH holdings if the price plummets below 2450, and he's not going to go long again. So this is a person that's kind of in that stage. I guess a lot of people have been asking us, is it time to sell your ETH, take your profits, and move into a token that has some better opportunity for this bull run? How would you play that, or would you still keep diversified in your asset structure?
So I think that it's never good to be too heavy in any altcoin, including Ethereum. Obviously, Ethereum is going to be a safer bet than a lot of other altcoins, but the diversification is the most important part there. So I think that, I mean, it's ultimately, I don't think a bad idea to convert ETH into altcoins, but you want to be very diversified in it.
Right.
Because some of them could do well, some of them we know won't. I think it's about diversification there. I don't convert ETH over to altcoins. Generally, I convert Bitcoin over to ETH and altcoins because, I mean, I like ETH. It's a blue chip, but I still consider it to be an altcoin. So,
yeah. Well, a lot of people have been looking at SWI. You kind of see SWI's growth right here from back here in August. Let's see how much SWI has grown since that little dip right there. If you went to the top, you were at 352%. You're trading right now at 287% if you were able to make that trade. And we've been covering the SWI topic. We had the SWI founder on, Evan Chang. He was on talking about what they were about to do, and it gave us a lot of insights to where they were going. So I still think this is a strong one. And then, of course, you have things like Solana, which is another factor that could play into this. Solana, of course, have seen a lot of activity in their dApps, which are up 54% in Q3. So again, that's just more adoption on Solana. If Solana ETH, let's say you're holding both bags, and you've got equal positions in ETH and Solana right now as they set today, would you hold those positions? Again, not financial advice to you guys listening out there. Evan and I are going back and forth on strategies here. Would you hold those two positions equal, or would you maybe go a little top heavy in Solana or split it out to another altcoin like SWI?
So let me show you on the charts. I'll answer that as
Okay.
I show you on the charts.
Good.
Let's look at technicals to back that up. So let's look at Sol ETH real quick right here. Sol ETH right now keeps doing well. It's in an uptrend. It looks like it's going to keep outperforming Ethereum. So I would not be selling Sol to put into Ethereum. I definitely, if I'm going to be selling anything to put, if I'm going to be selling ETH, I would put it into Sol. And then if we look at SWI ETH, which could be another interesting, let's see if we could even find, yes, SWI ETH, yeah. To even find that pair, we got to be advanced with that pair. Yeah. SWI. Okay. Coming up here too. So I mean, man, you asked the tough questions, Paul. I mean, that's a $1 million question. It looks good here. Yeah. I mean, it looks good. I mean, it's, how much risk tolerance do you have? Converting ETH into SWI and Solana. I mean, obviously SWI is going to have the biggest upside potential, but it's going to be the riskiest here. I mean, because when you look at this looks good. Yeah. SWI looks like it outperform ETH. It probably looks like it'll also outperform Solana as well, because when you look at this chart here, we could get some, high targets, really high targets here. Because if you break out of this range, you have targets all the way up to $6 or $8. You could easily do from there. That's about at least 200%, maybe even more. Solana could do that, but most likely it'd probably do less than that, I would think. So there's that possibility there. So, I mean, that's a 4x right there for SWI. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely bigger upside. You just got to have that risk tolerance. So it depends how much risk you want to take. But
it is the scenario. Risk tolerance, man. Risk tolerance, because these are the times in where the men or the boys become men when it comes into trading, and the ladies become women out there in terms of their risk tolerance and taking risk in the sense where they get a chance to really get a gain in this next bull run. Avalanche is also kind of like that. You've got off the grid, pretty much just taking the gaming business by storm. We've seen a lot of activity there. First game to become the most popular free-to-play download game in the Epic Game Store in just 3 days. So I think everybody's starting to realize, okay, there's something here with this Web3 gaming ecosystem. What about Avalanche right now? Because it has been a laggard. It has not been running for quite some time. So your position right now on AVAX?
AVAX, when we look at the chart here, it's struggling a little bit. Just like Bitcoin, just like Ethereum right now, there's struggles. We got a trigger wave to the downside here in your 5-day. It does look like you may come down to $17. It does look like you may even come down to $15 potentially based on this time frame. We got to be objective. You got a trigger wave to the downside in the weekly too. That's a rare bearish sign. I mean, now, I don't think it's definitely, people may get tripped up and get too bearish because it looks like how it looks in April of 22. I do not think that's going to happen. Don't get too afraid. But it could be, somewhere like this with these trigger waves over here, at least bringing you back down to $20, maybe even down to 16. I don't think you would lose 16, but ETH coming back down to 2,000, playing around with those areas, it's possible to definitely retest those points, being as objective as possible here. It does look like we may have some bearish months ahead. I know people may get angry in the comments, Evan the Bear and all that. Go ahead. Maybe I'm wrong here, but it does look like you're going to come down, unfortunately. It does look like you're going to come down. I mean, to answer to go into more detail on your last question a little bit about SWI and all that, I am afraid that all those coins we've talked about and all these coins we talked about so far may bleed against Bitcoin for the next month to 2 months here. I am a little bit worried about that, but if you're willing to hold a year, I think it's going to really do incredibly well against Bitcoin, but I'm concerned for the next month to 2 months.
Yeah, it depends on your strategy and what you're doing personally out there with some of your trades. Just as a reminder, guys, we are doing our Crypto for America event. This is happening on Tuesday, so make sure and go over to the YouTube channel. Hit this little notify bell. You'll see it right there. And that way you'll for one, you got to be subscribed to the show. You'll get a notification, and we're going to go live from 6 p.m. on Tuesday night, election night, until hopefully we have a call on the election. We've got a lot of special guests, a lot of trading we'll be doing, a lot of impacts on how the votes are coming in across the United States, and of course we'll have some analysis. I think that will only be done here on PBN, so make sure and catch that. And again, when you look at Avalanche, I just want to go back and kind of visit the Avalanche situation right now. Remember, there's a lot of movement around supporting what's going on in that ecosystem. Here's Van Eck right here talking about just that very issue. Van Eck's investment reinforces our shared belief in blockchain power to reshape the gaming industry. So don't believe Evan the Bear too much. There's a lot of upside here, I think, to projects like this. If you look at Gunzilla, and if you're watching the off the grid performance, you've got probably some big opportunities there coming on AVAX. Now, the other one that's coming in is Polygon. And if you look at what's going on with the ag layer, this, of course, is happening, right over there in your neck of the woods, man, over in Bangkok. You should stay.
I got invited to that. I did get invited. I may go. I got my plans to go to Taiwan.
Go back to Bangkok, man. It's November 11th, just around the corner. You still make it back for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Anyway, they could be doing some big announcements there. So what about Polygon? What do you like on the Pol token?
So yeah, let's take a look. I mean, I have the Matic chart, and then just to show you, the first thing on the Matic chart here is just because the Polygon chart, you can't look this far back. It's a major point. I mean, it's the low of kind of this area. So this is, if you believe in the project, if you don't think it's going to go to zero, this is a great place to buy. And we like to also look at these 5-day. You got the 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow X's on the 5-day here. Your money flow is still, a little bit deep in the red, but it's so deep that it's going to probably start to do a little bit better here. And I mean, you could also look at, I think it's generally the same thing. The new chart right here, not too fun since they were branded, but you're trying to jump up. You may get a trigger wave here. This could be one of the ones that jumps up despite some fear and despite the rest of the market coming down. It is my least accurate pattern though, but you are forming a head and shoulders, it looks like. If you break downward from that situation, this is probably the least accurate pattern, but sometimes it plays out. 29 cents, so down a few more cents is possible here. So I think it could lag around, boring for a month to 2 months, like I've been mentioning a lot of these, something of this nature, and then getting a nice kind of run up to big new all-time highs. And just to give you like a perspective, not to make everybody too afraid, because I have some high targets for some of these. I mean, Polygon could do easily, well, you don't want to say easily, but I mean, $4 could be a good goal. Ooh. I mean, $4, absolutely. 12x could be a good goal for a lot of these if they do, what we saw some of the bigger cryptos do in the last bull run. So yeah, even AVAX could absolutely do that as well. So I mean, I still have those high hopes, but I think we may have a tough month or two here. That's what I think.
Yeah, well, you got to remember with Polygon, the key here is one of the big updates they had was obviously the rollout of Fabric. Go back and check out our Polygon video. We just did it about a week ago. There was a lot of innovation there. But recent speed ups were done, and this includes the scenario with Fabric, which is really going to accelerate the amount of transactions we're going to start to see. And if you look at that tweet and then follow it down, guess who's in there? Vitalik right there, simply saying, okay, you guys won this game. And they're talking about, the potential for speed here, which of course is the killer app that Polygon brings as a layer 2 to the ETH ecosystem. So that in itself could still be a big support line for where all of this is going. Listen, IMX got slammed with a Wells notice. If you're holding IMX right now, you probably saw your token bleed significantly yesterday. And this is a big deal. Now with the SEC presenting a Wells notice, I'm just wondering how many more of those kinds of companies could get Wells notice. The IMX chart right now, can this key thing recover? Remember, Uniswap had almost the same scenario play into this.
So I'm concerned right now. I'll tell you, I am concerned. We have the most bearish possible blood diamond on the weekly. It's not a good situation. For those who question, I mean, yeah, you got a trigger wave near the zero line here. Money flow is coming down. I mean, the last time you had money flow in this area, you did continue downward. I don't know if it's going to be that catastrophic like this coming. That is probably a worst case scenario. I think 54 cents, another 50%. That would be worst case scenario. I think we do have some hope, though. We do have some hope. At 92 cents, I'd be surprised if you recover immediately here and keep coming up. I do think that you're going to have to mess around with 92 cents or something at least, and then maybe some of these lower areas. I do think you can make a good recovery, though. I do have high expectations. I think you got a good shot at $8 eventually. So from where we are right now, an 8x at least, from $1. Maybe close to an 8x, maybe even more for this, maybe $10. But I think a month or 2 months, like a lot of these, it could be a rough month or 2 months, and then into early next year, you'll see a nice recovery and you'll see a really good 2026, probably even faster than that. Probably even, I mean, look at this jump upward. I see something like that happen again, maybe just like that into the end of next year. So be patient with it. I think the goal here, just hold a year and stick around for a year. Most important thing, don't get too impatient, just stick around for a year.
Yeah. Well, you look at IMX here, this is on the year, on the daily chart, but going back as far as October of last year, still up 117% right now. And that's even at the current rate right now, trading at $1.13. So I don't know. I'm still interested in this particular one. I do hold it, and it is one that I'm continuing to watch just because I'm very bullish on where Web3 gaming will go. We've got a lot of questions in the chat, so we'll try to get to some of those for you guys for sure. I want to go over to the poll real quick and take a look at the poll real quick. Let's take a look at the poll today. All right, here we go. Will the crypto market rally this weekend? Yes, we rally, 46%. Nothing epic happens, 38%. And we got a little bit. So I'm going to say it's a bullish weekend. What do you think? Bullish weekend? Bitcoin 73?
I think it's a sideways. A sideways. We wearing somebody's. We are hitting. Sure, let's say bullish weekend, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right. We're going to take some questions for you guys today and get in on that. I've got William Fisher coming in. Speaking on gaming, what about Beam? Beam is a token that I hold. I like Beam in general. When you think about Beam as one of the gaming tokens in the ecosystems out there, I would say most of the game guys that are analysts in this, and I follow quite a few of them, still very bullish on Beam. So I don't know. It is interesting. If you look at the trend line right now, it's not too bad. Even if you were in back here in August of this year, you're still slightly up about 40%. Curtis Tape says XRP. Yeah, I like XRP. And he says Cardano. All right. He's naming tokens. You like Cardano on a trade?
Yeah. In Cardano
which one of those would you
now,
trade? XRP or Cardano?
I don't try. I'm too young for this, Paul. This is people from 2017. Which one would I trade?
All right. Well, then
both of these
I
are
get,
probably going to believe more.
All right. So what's your meme coin of choice? Would you go Mudang, or would you get into maybe go back into the Tron ecosystem?
I have to go Mudang. I almost saw Mudang. I have a funny story.
That's good.
Yeah, that's in Thailand. Yeah, I was over there. I almost went to see Mudang, and then something came up. I'll tell you.
Okay, well, we'll do that off. All right, Curtis says Polygon amazing, not Solana. I'm still, and there's a lot of people in there. Give me 3 tokens that you feel you would get into that you have not been in before, even if it's just 1 or 2 tokens that you haven't been in before, and you're kind of saying, "Oh, this is a good one. I might go this direction." Something in the base ecosystem.
I own a lot of coins. Ones that I'm just trying to think right now, and there's so many, Paul. I have so many, so it's tough. I'll just give you 3 that maybe we'll do something cool over the next year. Crypto.com, maybe Algorand, and one other. Maybe
wait a minute, did you say Crow?
Esoteric one.
Okay.
I said Crow. Right. I did say Crow.
Okay, I just want
We're talking about meme coins, right? I'm just kidding. Yeah. We're talking about meme coins.
All right. Okay. All
right.
You
asked me stuff I don't currently have that much of. I have so much of so many coins. It's hard.
Listen, you got to be thinking, because remember, everybody's position starts small. It's like SWE. I started small with SWE. I'm like, hey, this is interesting. Right. I've got a little bit more play here. Let me go a little deeper in it. And then I got a chance to do more research. Our team got together. Then we started trying to book the team. We started learning more about it, and then bam, SWE starts taking off. So it's kind of that way. William Fisher says, I swapped some of my ETH for Avalanche. I hope ETH still runs, but right now he's looking at Avalanche as being the horse to ride in this bull run. Do you like that one?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that you need to be diversified. I think if you're converting all of your ETH into one coin, that's asking for suicide. That's always, the stars will align in the wrong way for all your ETH to join. It could be the greatest coin ever. You'll have bad luck, trust me. You need to diversify in a lot of different altcoins, because we know Avalanche with 5 other altcoins, we know a few of them will do well, but just Avalanche, there's going to be a bigger risk there. So be careful.
Yeah. Listen, we've got people saying that DOT is the one to take. I'm looking at the DOT right now on our own chart. This thing is coming back into the zone that happened all the way last year, about October, when we started to see DOT decline, and then we saw the big run up. But that was trading at about $3.60. It's trading in at $3.93 right now. This may be, that might be right. That might be right. There was one of the statements in there, I think, from, what is it, Lukalaz?
If you hold that low.
Yeah, if you held that low,
I think
that yeah, I agree with you. PB, how about Say? Say is another one that I like. I've dabbled in it, and I continue to look at this one as maybe a play. But I'm still looking for some things. By the way, we have reached out to the Say team multiple times. So for you Say people out there, start saying it on PBN, and then we'll find out really what's happening out there. Do you have a chart on Say? We have somebody asking about that one.
Let's take a look.
Give me a chart. Let's take a look at it.
Let's take a look at Say. So if we look right here, you are hitting a big point. Maybe I want to wait till this trigger wave forms on that 2-day, but you got a shot at coming back up to 45 cents here. Let's just be careful. You got blood diamonds here. I need to give this until next week. Give this until at least the election, and then I'd have to reevaluate. Right now, I wouldn't do anything with it. But if post-election this still looks good, and you could trigger wave right here in the 2-day. I mean, look at the last one here, jumping up. So it is possible if things go right, you could be jumping up to 70 cents potentially.
Ooh, that's a good move.
I kind of don't think it would. Yeah, I don't think it'll happen that early though. So I want to give this a few days though. I think it's a little bit of it could be a facade so far. I want to give this until next week though.
I got to get with our crypto pit traders and see if they like that chart, because that might be one of those that you could go in on a swing and try something where it is right now. Much like DOT, you could do that maybe. There's a handful for sure. What else do we have here? We got a few more questions. Will Bitcoin hit 80K this month? This is November now. Happy November, everybody. You think 80K? I know what you're going to say. No way.
Not no way, but I mean, I don't. We just want to.
No dip.
I mean, if we could. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm not gonna. I have no idea. It's hard. I mean, I would say the odds are against it, but we'll see.
Evan, I'm telling you, this traveling is making you soft. Where's the trader that used to sit next to me and make definitive calls? I'm going for it. I'm either bullish or I'm bearish.
Yeah. Whenever you're definitive, you always get it wrong. But I mean, according to the charts, it's quite. I think it's hard to say because we want to wait until the election outcome. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's really what we want to wait for here. So we need a few more days to kind of what happens there and then
play it out. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think you're right. Paul, you're bullish on the base ecosystem. Listen, I'm a big base fan. I don't like these cycles of base where they do, on-chain summer, and then, I've heard Jesse Pollak talk about this a couple of times. Hey, we're building in the winter and then we release. I think they need to figure out a way to make this a year-round, full-on, blitz for the program. And everybody, I understand building takes time, but everybody kind of builds up stuff so they can announce it at their events. In Base's particular case, it's on-chain summer. But normally, Base is doing something big down here in November at Art Basel in Miami. I don't know if Base House again or not. And sometimes they release a few things. So we'll see if that happens. What else do we have here? Baylor Bear says it's not numbers thing, it's a psychological thing. I kind of agree. Right now, investing is very psychological because it is so tied to this election. And also to the economy to a certain extent. Do you think FOMC meeting next week, do you think we get the quarter point or no?
I think there's a 98% chance we get the quarter point unless Powell just wants to irritate everybody and make the market go crazy in one way or the other. So yeah.
Do you think, well, that would be interesting because you're right. It's about a 90% on the quarter point. Do you think it comes back in December with another quarter?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's going to be a quarter
and
then a quarter.
You're looking at two rate cuts before the year end. That would be very bullish, I think, Evan, for sure. William Fisher says, people saying Trump win priced in. I think there has been some front running. I still think the floodgates really open after there isn't any uncertainty. I think it all really boils down to one thing, and that is going to be around stablecoins. The stablecoin potential of a regulatory framework getting through the House and the Senate could really change things out a lot. Now, if we just get an indicator that the stablecoin bill is going to happen, that would be enough, I think, to open up a little bit. And if we get any kind of fit bill, resolution that would open up the gates for innovation coming back to the U.S., then that's your go time, as they say. That's your go time. All right, guys, we are going to do, as I said, another live stream. Well, more live streams next week, but the one you got to watch for is next Tuesday. And that, of course, is the Crypto for America event that we're hosting, which is an election night coverage, all talking about crypto and how it is being affected by the American political landscape. You don't want to miss it. Lots of very special guests. Mark Moss will be joining us. We also have Tim from Investing Bros that will be covering trading with us that night. So it's going to be quite a party, and we'll be doing that for you guys until hopefully we have an election winner. For all that good stuff. So anyway, hey, Evan, it was great having you on again. Be safe out there in the Southeast Asia markets. And let me know if you end up heading back to Bangkok.
Maybe I will. I'll see.
Okay. Yeah, let me know.
Thanks so much, Paul.
That'd be a good, the Agler event, I think would be cool. All right, we'll catch you later.
Yeah.
All right, you guys, if you're not in the Diamond Circle, get in right now. It's a great place to catch additional content. And of course, catch me out there on X at Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.